Hi, I made this quick video for you on how to avoid plagiarism, and I hope you find it helpful. So, as I was reviewing your papers, we use Turnitin as a way to refer and get information back from students' papers and identify if plagiarism has taken place or if papers were used in other classes or from other students. And so, when we use this to look at your paper, the following items came out highlighted. And so I wanted to use this time as an opportunity to review how can you avoid plagiarism and how can you cite the information, as I know it's a process that you're not too familiar with and you're still learning. And so it's a good time to review this and get to learn it a little bit more. So here's a report that I ran up, and those two sections came from the same website, which was littlebigcat.com. And so I just wanted to share this with you so that you see where we get the information from. So when I looked at your paper, the first paragraph came from the this section, and I wanted to just share it with you so that you can see how I was able to find the information. And so it matches, if you go back to the beginning, it says a lot of pet foods claim they contain human grade ingredients. And if I look at your paper, it starts off a lot of pet foods claim they contain human grade ingredients. Okay, so I just want you to compare and see what I found on the website versus what I found on your paper. And the second item that popped up starts with many of the high-end pet foods today. And so this is from the website, and then this is what was on your paper, many of the high-end pet foods today, and it's the same thing. The difference is this one had the whole paragraph worded word for word, and the first one was just, I believe, about a sentence. So I'm going to help you through that. So the first thing I wanted to do is take you to SNHU library on plagiarism checkers. If you look at this, plagiarism checkers are softwares that can be used to check your work and provide you with information as far as are you plagiarizing. So I also wanted to remind you that the SNHU academic honesty policy defines plagiarism as a use, whether by paraphrase or direct quotation, of the published or unpublished work of another without full and clear acknowledgement. Plagiarism is often unintentional. You may not realize that you have accidentally plagiarized, so using a plagiarism checker can help determine if and where plagiarism may have occurred so that you are able to correct it. And that's what I'm hoping to help you with this website. And so I use Turnitin.com, and that's what helped me identify your information on your paper. But outside of SNHU, on a personal matter, I prefer to use Grammarly.com because you can upload your paper. It also highlights where your information is coming from. It helps you with citing your information, and it tells you exactly where the information came from in case you forgot or didn't catch it. And a lot of times you do this unintentionally and you don't realize it. So Grammarly.com is a website I've used on a personal note, and so I recommend it. WriteCheck is another one. It's a student version of Turnitin. It's also available for purchase, and so that is another program that you could use. Another thing you could do is, even just if you're not sure of something or you don't remember, you can highlight it and put it into Google search engine, and it'll pop up if it came from a certain place as well. So these are plagiarism checkers, just 3 different ways you can go about checking your work on your own to avoid plagiarism. So I'm going to take you to the Purdue Online Writing Lab. I really like this website as well, in addition to our own library, to use it to remind me about citations, because each citation and reference is different. Is it a website? Is it a book? Where are you getting your information from? And so it can get confusing. So I'm just going to show you today 2 tips on how you can work on revising those 2 sections in your paper, and hopefully that will help you. So when you go to the website, you want to go to APA Citations and Reference List, and then down on the bottom you'll see In-Text Citations, the basics, and you want to click on that link, and it'll take you to this section on short quotations. The first section that I saw in your paper, I'd like to have you revise it by using the short quotation format. So the directions are there for you, and there's 3 different ways you can go about doing this. And so I'm just going to share them with you briefly and let you kind of play with it and see what works for you. But one of the things you could do is say according to, and then put the author's last name, and in parentheses the year that the document was published, and then you have the quote. So that information that was highlighted and red, you want to quote that. And then at the end, you would put the page number that it came from, followed by a period. The other way you can do it is just by saying the author's last name, year, with the word to transition that, and then your quote, and then the page number at the end. A most common one that a lot of students use, and people that are just getting started with writing or research, you will see people use with the quotations and then the author's last name, year, and page number at the end, followed by a period if it's the end of a sentence. So these are just a couple of methods for doing this using short quotations, and I'd like to see you use this method on that first highlighted paragraph that I shared with you and see how that works for you. And this is just a review of what that looks like. I like to call these formats or formulas. I often tell my students it's like a math formula. So according to, and then you would write the source, author, or the name of the source, the year, the quotation, and then the page number. Or if you don't want to reference the author as an intro, you would just put your quote, author, year, and page number at the end. So this is just kind of a quick review of the short quotation method that I shared with you. The next one, this is the example, so that you know what I'm talking about. So using the short quotation for this section, okay? The next one is a long quotation. As you can see, this has quite a bit of words, and so this one would look a little bit different. And so I've added the format for long quotations. Long quotation consists when you have use something that's 40 words or longer, and so you would follow the long quotation format. And the way that looks is like this. You would put the author's last name, the year that the document was published, and followed by a transition. What are you trying to share? Is it a study? Is it information? Or, so you would state that here. And then that whole piece that we highlighted in red, you would block it just as it is here, with indenting with 1/2 inch margins, and then you would just put the page number at the end, okay? So it would follow this format. And that would be for this one again, so that you know which one I'm talking about. So I hope you can see that this one's a lot longer. It's definitely more than 40 words. So again, you would identify the author, and this would be indented, so 1/2 inch margins would just be about here, and then at the end, you would put parentheses with the page number. Okay, so this is how you could work on revising the second one that I shared with you. So just to review and sum everything up, you have 2 sections from your paper that were found to have come from the website directly, word for word. And so I want to create a plan of action by having you revise the first one using short quotation format, and revising the second one by using the long quotation format. Or you could just rewrite it totally in your own words, and then you don't have to worry about plagiarism. I also want to leave you with the resources. I use Purdue OWL citations. I referenced the SNHU library, talked about Grammarly.com, and then I also want to leave you with the SNHU Writing Center. I highly recommend using that. I understand the frustration when you're doing work and you're stuck and you need help now because you don't have time later. And so they have a really nice chat system where you can ask them a question and let them know, hey, I'm trying to do this, but I'm not sure how the formatting's working. Did I cite it correctly? They can give you quick feedback. You can also submit your papers to them, and they will review them and give you feedback in a one-on-one approach. So I highly recommend using the Writing Center as well. So if you have further questions, please contact me. I can do a video chat with you, and I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing your revision by Sunday.